Okay, so we can actually start with a talk while we're still expecting the chairman. So the first person, because time has been fast spent, so I will indulge the crave indulgence for all the speakers today to please try as much as possible to keep it very concise, brief, and sharp so that we can make use of the good time. But to do an introduction, which is an opening remark, and that I'm going to call on Dr. Valerie Mbongo, our secretary, to do that. Put your hands together, please.
Unfortunately, the chairman hasn't arrived yet, but all protocols observed. So, thank you all for coming this evening. And I know we are all here for a single reason, one single reason. And that reason is to see Nigeria work again. And I'm sure that is the only reason why we are here, and that's the reason why I am here. And as you can see, I actually have an injury. I should be, at home resting, but of course, I can't. There's too much to be done. We need to rescue Nigeria. And I think that this is the only vehicle that can do that. And so I'm just here to give a brief introduction, talk a little bit about the Labour Party, talk about what the Labour Party is about, what the Labour Party hopes to achieve, and how the Labour Party hopes to rescue Nigeria. And I keep using that word, rescue, because Nigeria needs to be rescued, definitely. And we know that ours is a long-awaited movement to bring forth and birth a new Nigeria under the auspices of the Labour Party. The Labour Party is a social democratic party in Nigeria. It was created in 2002, and it was previously known as the Party for Social Democracy before it was changed. The name was changed in 2003 to the Labour Party as we know it today. Built on the ideology of social democracy, the aim of the party is to promote and defend social democratic principles and ideals for the sole purpose of achieving social justice, progress, and unity. You will all agree with me that we have watched and witnessed Nigeria fall from grace and glory into a society where tribalism, religious intolerance, crime, banditry, kidnapping, poverty, sickness, and disease are rife. Hyperinflation, high levels of unemployment, low standard of living, and almost a zero balance of payment plague our economic space. All this as a consequence of bad leadership, poor governance, and a failed government. We also all agree that Nigeria must be saved and that Nigeria can be saved. The Labour Party, under the leadership of our principal, Peter Obi, and his deputy, Dr. Dati Yusuf, will, through effective leadership, turn Nigeria around. The Labour Party, by effectively building bridges and resolving conflict, will secure and unite the people of Nigeria. Like our old national anthem did say, though tribes and tongues may differ, in unity we will stand. Every Nigerian will be given equal opportunity, irrespective of tribe, religion, or political affiliation. A Nigeria built on meritocracy rather than patronage or on which governor you know. A Nigeria where we are all our brother's keeper, embracing our diverse and rich cultures and living in peace with all. The Labour Party will create effective institutional and legal reforms where the rule of law is upheld, rather than a society where the law is used to oppress the citizens. The Labour Party will focus on production-centered growth for food security, moving from consumption to production, leapfrogging Nigeria from oil dependency into the fourth industrial revolution. The Labour Party will focus on human capital development for effective competitiveness by creating an enabling environment through the creation of jobs and full employment for our people. The Labour Party will expand our physical infrastructure through market-driven reforms, creating a Nigeria with low levels of inflation, allowing individuals and small businesses to thrive. Exports of goods and services will be encouraged, thereby expanding the economy and thus creating a better standard of living for our people and achieving a healthy balance of payment. A Nigeria with low levels of crime will be achieved because our people are enabled and encouraged to be the best that they can be. A Nigeria where simple and basic human needs like clean water, a good and functional healthcare system, a good and functional education system, good roads and transport networks, electricity and welfare system for the elderly and infirmed are met. A Nigeria where our mentally challenged and disabled persons are not left on the street or tied up in churches simply because they are seen as taboos in our society. Finally, the Labour Party will create a robust foreign policy that will restore Nigeria into strategic relevance in the international community, where our natural resources and a populace of about 2 million people becomes a powerful negotiating tool and force to reckon with in the international arena. Distinguished guests, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt that the only party that has the know-how, the capacity, the ability, the political will to deliver Nigeria from the hands of our enemies, both within and without, is the Labour Party, under the leadership of Peter Obi and Dr. Yusuf Datti. It is with this vision that the Nigerian Labour Party UK chapter was created to offer support from us in the diaspora to the Nigerian Labour Party in Nigeria. The UK chapter will act and will exist more as an information hub, a one-stop shop where everything Labour Party is filtered from Nigeria to the diasporans and also from the diasporans to Nigeria. So we are all speaking one mind. We all have the same information. We have a good structure. That is the role of the Labour Party UK. And I thank you all for coming to this inauguration. And we hope that you will all join hands with us in the diaspora and make sure that we win the next election, that come 2023, Peter Obi and Yusuf Datti become the leaders in Nigeria. And so to this end, I say, Viva Labour Party! Viva Labour Party! Viva Labour Party! Long live Labour Party Nigeria. Long live the new Nigeria. Together, we will win 2023. Together, we will take Nigeria back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Secretary Dr. Valerie Mbogo. Please, can I ask everyone to put their phone on silence? Because sometimes this technology just have their own minds. Before I call on the next person, something just came up just to lighten the mood a little bit. There was a certain man of God that was asked, "Man of God, what do you think about the election of 2023? And the man of God said In all my experience as a clergy, I've never seen anywhere broom is being used or talked about in the Bible. And it says, secondly, not even umbrella. But you know what it says in Luke 18:20, if I got that right? Where two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. And looking at the logo of the Labour Party, you find a male, a female, and a child. And that's what constitutes Nigeria. So from what Doctor has said, this is the time to take back our country. And next, without further much ado, I'll be calling on Maxi Obi Okoli. Mazi. Say that Maxi sounded like a female guy. Apologies. Mazi Obi Okoli. Let's put our hands together, please.
Thank you all. I'll stand on existing protocols. When God wanted to destroy the world, he called men and women of goodwill into the ark. And the ark was without form and void because there was a need to rescue the people and save the good people to start a new world. And often these days we've heard things like rescue Nigeria. You only rescue somebody who is lost. We've talked about consumption to production. It means we have eaten our future, our present, and even our past. We talk about a new Nigeria is possible. It means that Nigeria does not exist anymore. We want to have a new Nigeria. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here to find a way to salvage a sinking ship, Nigeria. You have not come here this evening to know that Nigeria is sinking with foreign debt. You have not come here this evening to know that the security challenges in Nigeria are overwhelming. You have not come here to know that we have stopped being an export nation. Rather, we have become an import-dependent nation and we import everything, including oxygen. You have not come here today to know that our military, which was one of the best in Africa, has collapsed. You have not come here to know that our children now graduate after 8 years for a course of 4 years. Neither have you come here this evening to understand that we do not have water, electricity, but we pride ourselves as the giant of Africa. Nigeria is riddled with controversies. Every day we hear negative news and no positive. Our dollar, our naira has sunk to the lowest ebb that it is very difficult for a miracle to happen to even bring it back. And then we heard the voice of God saying, bring men and women of wisdom and knowledge into the ark. And where is the ark? The Labour Party today. The ark that nobody knew would ever resurrect. The ark that nobody considered to be consequential. But we have found a man in Peter Obi and his deputy, Ahmed Dati. Nigerian youths who remember what happened in Lekki Beach, Lekki Gate, Toll Gate, while asking for justice, equity, and fairness, they were gunned down by the same nation that they sang its national anthem and held the flag. As those youths were mown down, Nigerian destiny was mowed down. But today, out of the ashes of failure, have we arisen again to say that a new Nigeria is possible. That Nigeria is what has brought us here today. Men and women of goodwill, we have all traveled from far and wide to come here today, to work together to find that place where we can say that a new Nigeria is possible. I'm glad knowing all of you. I'm glad being in this ark together with you. And I'm glad that we are all going to sail together and make that new Nigeria possible. God bless you all for coming.
Mazi Obi Okole is the chairman coordinator for the fantastic Great Obedient Movement. It's as if the national chairman of Labour Party Nigeria has arrived. Please let us make it welcome for Barrister Julius Abure. You're welcome, sir. Hope the car no chop petrol on the road, sir. I would have honestly thought that Maxi was going to continue a bit longer, but it's the entrance of the chairman that probably cut you off abruptly. If you don't mind, I'll be happy to give you another 5 minutes, sir. Thank you.
So, sir, while we were waiting for you, I was called to make my speech. And I likened the Labour Party to an ark when God wanted to destroy the world. And he called men and women of goodwill into the ark. And after the world was destroyed, those men and women are today the fathers of creation. And we believe that the Labour Party has come to rescue Nigeria. And when I watch Peter sometimes talk, and when I met him in person, when they say we don't give shishi, we don't give shishi. And I met him in person, but having discussed with him, I found something unique about the man. He is there because we want him to be there. He is not pushing himself to be the president of Nigeria. But look at what is happening from the rallies, from the shores of Enugu down to the hills of the north, down to the plain lands of the west. Everybody's asking for one thing: rescue Nigeria under Peter Obi. If Peter Obi was not here today, we would have found somebody. But the shoulder, the whole burden of Nigerian civilization and Nigerian movement into the 21st century hinged on his shoulder. And we believe that with the support of good men like us, that we will achieve that word to rescue Nigeria. I thank you all for coming. I've lost my reading, but it is a pleasure to know the type of people that I have met in this struggle. I am the coordinator of the Obedient Movement UK, and when I look at the funds we are raising, when I see the sacrifice of talent and our talent resources that we're putting into this movement, it can only be God that is guiding us. It can only be God that is pushing us. It can only be that selflessness that is pushing us. When I see the sacrifice people are making in Nigeria, from all the 36 states of the Federation, I look at myself and say, so it is possible that we can call ourselves brothers and sisters once again. When I see them march, I see humanity. When I see them march, I see salvation. When I see them march, I see an opportunity for us to hold that green, white, green again and say, God save Nigeria. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Mazi. I'm going to call on the next person, and that is the coordinator of the Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati Ahmed Presidential Global Network, PPGN, and that's in person of Dr. Michael Chukwuchekwe. Let's put our hands together, please.
Thank you very much and welcome to this. I will call it brainstorming because we're here to really see how we can unify Nigeria. The title says Nigerian Unity and Progress. And somebody will begin to ask, what has happened to Nigeria? Was there unity before? And some people claim that the Civil War was to foster unity as well. And many people are doing a lot of things, but we could see that Nigeria seems not to be in unity. And so We know what's happening in the north. We know what's happening in the south, in the west. Nobody could just travel. Nobody could just enter aeroplane. Nobody could just enter train. Nobody could just make a movement. You know, unity. It's not just about tribe now. It's Nigeria fighting against itself. So the unity is actually questionable. But there's something that has happened. From this that we know up till now, the presidential 2023 presidential election presents itself as a unifying factor for Nigeria. Do you know what has happened? As soon as 2023 presidential election was pronounced, and then a man emerged, and the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Ijos, the Hausas, the Efik, everybody started running onto this one man. The unity began to form itself. I will tell you, the coordinator of Kaduna, Hababa, will call me. I never met him. He will tell me the sincerity of his heart why Nigeria should be united. While he will go into the interiors of Kaduna, into the local governments of Kaduna State, campaigning for somebody from the southeast. That is the unity. The election, Peter Obi have put Nigeria onto that journey of unity. And then, but that doesn't end. I have Hafiz Bello in Kano going to 44 LGAs in Kano, telling people about Peter Obi. That is the unity that we want in Nigeria. It has started. Nobody can stop it. Nothing can stop it. The unity will come, and it's already by the doorstep. And so, it doesn't end there. This unity, we have gotten the election as a unifier. We've gotten Peter Obi as the agent. We need a vehicle. And the vehicle becomes Labour Party. The vehicle of unity. Everybody in Edo, I have Professor Clara being my Edo State coordinator of the group I led, PPGN. And everybody in Edo State is talking about Labour Party. So for me to say that the national chairman is also from Edo or Delta. Edo. So go there, and I put pictures. I get members donating building for somebody from Southeast. And by the way, Edo is South-South. They are donating buildings in Edo State for what? For unity of Nigeria through a vehicle called the Labour Party. That's what is happening. Okay. If you go to Delta State, I got some people in Sapele and Uyeli donating buildings for Labour Party to run because somebody is there. This unifying vehicle and agents, they had to. And this is the unity we want. So when we say, is there going to be unity? The people wanting us to draw a map and write unity to it. No. The unity are the physical things we are seeing. They're happening, and it's from the heart. People donating their money and their buildings for unity to take place. Can we do a clap for all these people? Now, these people have said the only vehicle they know that can foster unity is Labour Party. Amongst the youth, amongst the children, amongst the businessmen and women, we have a coordinator for businessmen and women all over Nigeria. He could leave from Lagos and go to Ijebu-Ode, and people were following him in all the markets in Nigeria. He gets to Anambra State and gets to Onitsha. People are following him. Who is he? One young person. But he is standing on the right vehicle. He's following the right agent. he is wanting to bring unity in Nigeria. And that's the unity we want. But the good thing is, this unity will not only happen in Edo State. It will happen in the 36 states of Nigeria plus Federal Capital Territory. How do we make it happen? There are coordinators, there are support groups, different support groups all over the states. They are doing great job. But the states won't do it to the level we want it. You know why? Because we have 774 local governments in Nigeria. All these local governments need to see the presence of the vehicle. And what is the vehicle? Labour Party. That unity will go from states to local governments, and it had to go to words. You know, there is an adage that says after dividing at the upper chamber, you have to come down to the lower chamber. There are 8,813 words in Nigeria. They need to experience the vehicle. And the vehicle is Labour Party. In Nigeria, for this unity to get progressing, there are 176,846 polling units. That's where we will go to demonstrate this unity of Nigeria. How do we do it then? Through a vehicle called Labour Party. And so, Mr. Chairman, is Labour Party ready for this? Now, what and how can Labour Party do this? Because we've been talking, so I will say a little bit before the chairman now throws the bomb at you. The thing is, in this look, all these words, people are ready. People are ready to go there and vote because of the unity we want. But the only thing that will mar the unity is when people have voted and their vote refuses to count. That will be a disadvantage to the unity. So that's why we want to know, how will Labour Party maintain? You know your vehicle, it needs oil to run. How would they get the oil? How would they get the petrol that will keep this vehicle running? They need me and you. We need to put fuel in that vehicle, the vehicle of unity. And so, somebody ran on to me. Chairman, I believe we will have some time to talk this one off camera. Somebody ran on to me and said, he is okay to design, not knowing that we have already started doing something on the platform, electioneering app, digital electioneering app, that had to monitor people's cultural behavior, their historical approach to life, their culture, and also monitor the voting history of every polling unit in Nigeria, to be able to know how many voids that has been recorded in this polling unit over 3 years. And then know the demographic of people who always vote in this polling unit. And remember, there are 176,846. Now, this app is going to find out all those and then begin to provide solution to Labour Party on how this will be ameliorated. And that's when the peace that will not be vandalized or jeopardized by anybody will come to Nigeria. And then, this app has opportunity, which I now tried. I was given a number to call somebody in Sapele, call a number in Sapele, and I called, and the person picked. I said, no, I'm a researcher. I don't go with one statement. I want to call somebody in Kano. I called somebody in Kano, the person picked. This app had collected the phone number of everybody who registered to vote in Nigeria, and collected their polling units. And the aim is to start marketing these people some months before the election. SMS messages, voice notes from the national chairman, voice notes from P2B and Dati, sending them, please vote for me. So that unity will come. But that's not the only thing. This app is also being designed to monitor the polling units. That the people who will not want unity of Nigeria and the progress, as soon as election is being casted in every polling unit in Nigeria, the canvassers and the electioneering agents are feeding in the result as it's being released. So you can be in London, you see the result in your polling unit in Ada. And everybody will be seeing that as it is happening. And so whether INEC wants to announce a wrong result or not, we are already screaming it globally. And then we were designing this and progressing with it. And last week, somebody came to me. We want to do this, but we need an approval from the national chairman of Labour Party. We will discuss off camera. But that is what had to happen. The unity had to come. The unity we need is not in the pocket of any man or any woman. The unity we need will come from God, will come from the youth, will come from children, will come from businessmen and women, will come from career men, will come from doctors, will come from nurses, will come from anybody. I belong to the unity and progress of Nigeria. Do you? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's really exciting to know that Labour has gone digital in this 21st century. Because there was somebody else that was saying that this is not as any insult or anything, because when they say your name is Bola, and they ask an Hausa man to interpret that, it says Bola is waist bin. When they say your name is Atiku, they ask Yoruba man to interpret that. They say we are dead, Atiku. And when they say your name is Obi, and they're saying that Obi in Yoruba is Kola, to the elders in the house, he will bring Kola. End of discussion. So it's definitely going to happen. I'm going to call on the third person, and that is the UKBA ME leader in person of Professor Joe Ukemenam. That name is powerful. Put it out together, please.
MC, one thing you must not do is to ambush your speakers. You didn't follow the rules there, so I wasn't ready. But the good thing, and another difficulty I have, is to have people like Mazio be speaking before me. Because the guy sets a standard that is very difficult to follow. The advantage is that he would have woken up the audience for you. So I also hear about all protocols observed, but nobody actually told me what the protocol is. So I manufactured mine. Ladies, gentlemen, and those who are not sure. And that covers everything for me. Another regret I have is to have Chukwujeku speak in front of me, because the man stole all my lines. And I was wondering, what am I coming here to do when he's got all stitched up, particularly the aspect of technology. But before I proceed, I'd like to tell you where I'm coming from. so that you can see the validity of what I say to you this night and decide whether you want to reject it or accept it. Is very important. My brief background is in Labour Party in this country. I contested 3 parliamentary seats, starting from the time of Tony Blair. So we were trained and grilled about politicking, and particularly the science of campaigning. And that brings you down to understand that politics is a game of numbers. It's about who first gets past the post. But before then, there are lots of things you need to do. And my experience there, now contrasted with I'm a professor of criminology, by the way. But that contrasted my experience in the UK, now contrasted with my experience in Africa, where I'm a United Nations expert on African development. I conducted the election that brought in the first elected female president in Africa, Lady Sirleaf in Liberia. And that was a period. And that was a period where the country had been in war for 15 years. And you were coming in there to structure it into a political exchanges and make sense out of it. So the challenge is different. Now in Nigeria, I decided in 2015 to do the legwork, being a member of PDP. I'm sure you guys must excuse me if I'm a member of PDP. And I followed them step by step, starting with Sullivan and all the rest, because I come from Enugu. What all these things taught me were different dynamism in different political structures and architecture. And what I want to talk about this evening is the knowledge you pull out from those things, not the criticism, anybody can criticize, but what are the key things that you can pull out from that to better the situation where you are. And here we're talking about the Labour Party of Nigeria. And I'd like us to talk about Labour Party of Nigeria rather than Peter Obi, because we are in danger of exhausting the poor man. He's exhausted already. And that is what is going to draw me down to one of the panaceas which I am going to prefer this evening. And possibly people will relate to it and take it on board. In my place, when you bring up with an idea, you say to the people, you can throw my ideas away, but please, not me. So the ideas I come across, I am going to prefer, can be adopted, if need be, can be rejected. No love lost. Because sometimes if you're too much ahead of your own ideas, it doesn't deliver. Ako ofonyama bunzuzu. If you don't understand it, call your neighbor who's an able person. So, my dear people, in that case, the first thing that I would, because my speech this evening is going to concentrate on 3 areas. I'm going to talk about Nigerian Labour Party. Then I'm going to talk about us in diaspora. Then I'm going to talk about the way forward. I'm sure if I go beyond those 3 points, it will be too boring for you. So in terms of Labour Party and structure, we have heard so much about structure being battered around and bandied around in Nigeria. But in science, that is not really what structure is about. If you go back to the villages and look at the hunters, any hunter who wants to go out to hunt would first of all identify the type of animal he wants to hunt. That would determine the instrument you're going to use to go after that animal. You know what to do. If it's this one that is crawling, like our people use what they call ibudu to get snake. Yes, they do it and they stand there waiting for the snake to come in there. If the snake doesn't come in, you don't get your meat. So the hunter must study the animal that is going to go after. So it is in politics. You cannot deliver the same message to everybody at the same time repeatedly. It does not work. You must first of all study the society you're dealing with. There's classism. Different class wants to hear different message. Different geographical areas have different problems. You need to talk to them. Don't talk at them. And how do we achieve this? Labour Party in Nigeria needs to come up with a robust communication strategy. And this communication strategy is not just about appointing Mazi and exhausting the man. It is about having a structure that is pseudo-scientifically designed, that encapsulates each message Labour Party wants to give out on a day-to-day basis. And make sure that this message goes around the world, not just Nigeria, and that everybody is singing from the same hymn sheet all the time. We succeed collectively, we fail collectively. That must be the way we approach it. Otherwise, we are seen as a ragtag army. Remember the people we're dealing with. I mentioned to you about Hunter going. We're dealing with caliber like Tinubu. Don't take that guy for granted. He will go to any length to win an election. He's done it before. Tinubu will wait till 90 days to the election before he brings out his army for campaign. It's a strategy. Because he allows other parties to think that he's not working, that he's dead. Then complacency sets up in those parties. Oh, where are they? We don't see them, we don't hear them. And boom, he comes in. By the time you can say Jack Robinson, you know the voters, winner takes all. We still have voters who play politics of stomach. What am I going to get? Here, when I talk about diasporans here, it's going to be what are you going to give, not what you're going to get. That is going to be our strategy here. If you're looking for what you're going to get, for goodness sake, how long have you been out of Nigeria? Nigeria is a University of Nigeria. Nigeria is not Nigeria you left. If you move out of a community, the community moves away from you. We must go back, re-study them, understand Ifeanyi, then start feeding them with those information. And it's only a robust communication strategy that can capture those things, analyze them, put them in perspective, deliver them, monitor it, and bring it back into the system. That is how we're going to win this election. The overemphasis on Peter Obi, a nice man. I knew him when he came to London when we were here in the early 80s, when we used to do what we did. But that was then, this is now. It's a different thing. We are fighting for our lives now. It's not about Peter Obi, but it is about our future legacy. But Peter Obi is leading the charge, and we are happy for him to do that. But we can't leave it to him alone because the job is too important for one person to deliver. So let's look back on what it is that we are actually bringing on table. And what is it that we are bringing on table in terms of skill, in terms of resources, in terms of legwork, and other things. Search your conscience. Look at how it's going to work. What is this whole idea of I won't agree, I don't agree? It's not going to get us anywhere. Disunity. This whole idea of going to campaign and turn it into a riot, it's not going to work for us. You go there, you challenge the police. Then somebody is shot. Then the person who is shot, the shooting, takes over the whole story. All our preparations and whatever has gone. So we have to have a disciplined campaign strategy, a disciplined team. People who look at how the Zulus defeated the British Army. It's through discipline. Even though they had the inferior equipment, discipline, discipline, and discipline. We have to bring it on board. Once our general says stop, you stop. You ask questions later. There's position. There's a time to ask questions. That is what we need to do. We need training. Don't take it for granted. I can organize that. We need training so that before we step out of that front door that we're going to campaign, you already know chapters and verses of what you're going to do and what you are not going to do. It's as important. Please, gentlemen, we must take it very seriously. It is science, and it's not about money. We've already identified that. We've identified the issues. We all know what the problem is. We all know the difficulties and the challenges. The issue for us here is how are we going to change the dynamics? And we have already seen the light down the tunnel. How do we get there? So I know the next speaker, which is my friend, Honorable Kate Andolwe. She's fidgeting to get me off the microphone. I know that. She's already sent signals, and I got that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this should not be the last meeting. We take whatever we have here. Chairman, please ask Dr. Chukwu is here. Let him do the monitoring and evaluation and communicate us back about the value that came out from here and what we're going to do next. The more we do that with a proper plan we follow, and don't tell me what to do. I didn't tell you what to do. So it is just to bring the humor into it, but it's a serious business, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to approach it in that way, map out what our communication strategy is. We are saying the same thing. And that's very important. Why it's important to say the same thing is that whatever message that is given to you to say has already been analyzed, agreed before it goes out. It's not about you talking out of the hoof. In Labour Party, I went to fight for a constituency. The BBC said to me, why are you going there? It has already been won by Tony Blair's group. What you repeat is what is the party's position. You don't formulate yours. Even though you're under pressure there, the answer you will give would be that agreed by the party. That is how we're going to win. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop here, and I'll come back again.
Thank you very much, sir, Professor Joe. Before I call on the last person that is going to speak tonight, before we go on to the chairman proper and the inauguration, this is a new label. And it's always very nice to hear all these ways that people have emphasized on how we can move Nigeria forward. And people are voluntarily donating their prowess, their capability for no shishi. Nobody is being bribed, nobody is being paid to come here today. Everybody came at their own will. And we all are ready to make sure that we have a new Nigeria. And honestly, in the course of doing this, there might be situations where definitely we'll have to storm before we form. So when we step on each other's toe, let us have complete decorum to be patient and let us work this thing out as a winner. We cannot be showing ourselves to that, we want to win this race and we start fight from the beginning. The storm is over. We've got a clear vision. We know where we're going. And by God's grace, we shall get there. With that, Mother Fortune as well, I'd like to call on Honorable Kate Anolue, the former mayor of Enfield.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Before I say anything, first of all, I have to say, welcome home. This is my borough. And obviously, I have to mention something that everybody has been saying, standing on the same protocol. I welcome you all. And being a politician in this country is not easy, but I've been there for a very long time. And that is since 2002. And I know what good governance is. Good governance makes a country go well. But standing here today and being with you, among you all, means that I must have seen something in Labour Party. Not because I'm in Labour Party in England, but there is something about this Labour Party. I've never been involved in politics in Nigeria. Reason is because we always try to concentrate on where we are, but my mind and my heart is there. But I tell you something, having born and brought up in Jos, where we lived freely, freedom, security, move around anywhere, no problem. Obviously, during the Civil War, we all come back to the East. That didn't hurt me as much as now when someone said, New Nigeria, Nigeria is gone. I definitely, 200% agree. You know why? For the very first time in my life since I came to this country, I went home in May, stayed for 3 good weeks. My foot didn't touch East. My foot didn't touch East. I spent the whole 3 weeks in Lagos. My sister had to come all the way from East to come and visit me there, while I am in Nigeria, my motherland. And you tell me that that is life. That is no life. Nigeria is gone. So I do believe that Nigeria needs to be rescued. And I see something in Labour Party, and that is why myself, I'm obedient. And I'm eager, very, very eager to see. I wish tomorrow is 2023. Because there are many things that I've done. My kids, I've got 4 kids. 2 of them went to school in Nigeria. But if it's today, I would not send them to Nigeria to study. Because there is no education. The children are wasted. Their lives are going. Unemployment. I was listening to one of the videos in the forum, and a 6-year-old was asking, they all came out to the rally to say, If you win, will I be able to go to school? This is a 6-year-old. Obviously, he's not in school. He wants to go to school. So he's come out to join Obedient Group to fight for his future. And I believe this is what we are doing here. And we in diaspora, we don't only want to encourage, we want to be part of the system, because I don't want every time we're sending money home, we also want to vote. So when Labour Party gets in, this is one of the things that you'll be fighting for, to make sure that diasporas will vote. Because the country where we are residing, they all vote. All of them vote, wherever they are. When it's election time, they're all voting. Why are we not voting? Why are we not allowed to do that? Because we've learned a lot, and we know what is right. And they know that we're going to help to make Nigeria a better place. That's why they don't want us to vote. So this time is our opportunity, and we have to make the most of that opportunity. We cannot let go. This is the time. You know, sometimes I sleep and I wake up, and I said, this is not really P2B. These are our youths. Our youths are fighting for their future. Our youths are fighting for their future. There is going to be a new Nigeria. That new Nigeria is what it used to be before, where every single person, it doesn't matter where you come from, we are one Nigeria. Why do we speak? We are singing. We may not have the same language, may not be the same the religion, but we speak in one tongue. Why are we not practicing it? We need to practice that. So that needs to come back. We must not allow people to divide us. Divided, we cannot stand. United, we will be able to stand. And we will be able to win, and we will be able to rule Nigeria the way we want it. Nigeria is a very beautiful country, a place where I love to go back. Twice a year, I'd like to go back to. And I want to be able to go to my fatherland, to visit my mother's grave, my father's grave, my husband's grave. I took my husband died here, and I took the body home. Why? Because I love Nigeria. And that is the reason why. So we must not let Nigeria go. We are here to rescue Nigeria, and Nigeria is going to be rescued by Labour Party. And if nobody believes it, we all believe it, and it's going to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable former Mayor of Enfield, I just said, this December, I'm supposed to take all my kids and their children home to go and see where my parents are buried. My first son married a West Indian woman. And you know what she said? You can go with them. My kids and myself, we're not going. That really hurts my heart, because that would have been a big opportunity for all of them to go to see where they all come from. And this is the situation where APC and every other people that have ruled Nigeria, where they've left us, this has to change. Anyway, they usually say, in hierarchy, I'm too low to introduce the chairman. It's only a chair that can introduce a chair. So I'm going to call on the deputy chairman for NLP UK in person of Mayor Olami Ajibola to introduce our chairman.
Wow, I can see the beautiful faces. And thank you all for coming. And we've heard from all our speakers. They have said a lot. And I always say one thing. One tree can never make a forest. Together, with unity, we can make things happen. Definitely. Yeah, in our own words. So OB is here. It's here to stay, 2023. And on this occasion, it gives me great pleasure and privilege and honor to introduce the national chairman of the great party, the Labour Party Nigeria. Without any doubt, he is the man of vision, purpose, with pathway to deliver Nigeria from the hand of political madness, bandit, and failed state. Labour Party forward ever. Labour Party forward ever, backward never. Thank you, everyone. Please, I will appreciate if you can please be on our feet to honor our able chairman in the name of the Honorable Barrister Julius Abure to this pulpit. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming all the way from Nigeria.
Labour Party, forward ever. How many of us know the Labour Party anthem? Okay. I think it will be the convenient point to start. Let me teach you the Labour Party anthem. And there are three stanzas. I will sing it first, you listen, and then we'll take it so that you can master it. Labour Party is our own. Labour Party is our party, oh. Nigeria go better when Labour Party don dey rule. Labour Party is our own. Labour Party is our party, oh. Nigeria go better when Labour Party don dey rule. The second stanza. We have decided to form a party. We have decided on Labour Party. We have decided to save Nigeria. No going back. No going back. The third one. There is victory for us. There is victory for us. In the struggle to rescue Nigeria, there is victory for us. Forward ever, backward never. In the struggle for Nigeria, there is victory. Labour Party, backward never. So let us sit down. Perhaps at an appropriate time. Well, today ought not to be a day to make long speech. I was given the impression that I was coming to inaugurate Labour Party UK chapter, which is very necessary because we appreciate the efforts of the diaspora. We appreciate the support, the expected support and the support given so far, both moral and otherwise. Because we appreciate the fact that even where you may not have voting rights, most of you are breadwinners of your family back in Nigeria. And they say he who plays the piper dictates the tune. And therefore we know that even though you may not have that voting right, when you point to a direction that you want your people to go, we are very sure that they will all go there. We are also very conscious of the fact that a lot of you are opinion molders. A lot of you are also role models. And we believe that role models have a major role to play in pointing direction to where the people ought to go. And thirdly, in your actions, you have come out strongly against bad governance in Nigeria, and we see that very clearly in your post, in your actions, and we believe that your support is very, very key to the success of Labour Party. And Peter Obi, and the ultimate to rescue the country from those who have held it captive over the years. And that's why we consider it very, very important to inaugurate the UK branch, or the UK chapter, and some other chapters across the world. But the beginning of it, we are starting with the UK chapter. I want to say the struggle for the emancipation of the people is not an easy struggle. It is not going to be bread and butter, because the political elite in Nigeria are deeply entrenched. They have stolen our funds over the years, looted it, and they have continued to use it as a tool to continue to impoverish us and impoverish the people. Today in the northern Nigeria, over 20 million are out of school children. In 2015, it was 7 million children that were out of school in Nigeria. By today, that figure has doubled to about 20 million out of school children. Out of school in the northern Nigeria. Today, insecurity has taken over the country. Today, initially, if you are kidnapped and you pay ransom, you'll be released. But this time around, situation has gone worse. When people are kidnapped, we have had stories, we have had videos of, apart from the fact they are going to collect the ransom, they will collect the ransom, dismember the body parts, sell it, and feed the remaining ones. It's as bad as that. We have videos to that effect, testimonies of people who have escaped. Labour Party was a victim. When we started the struggle to liberate Nigeria, we felt it should start from Anambra State, the last governorship election that took place in Anambra. And we had a very vibrant, young candidate, because Labour Party decided that we're going to have a paradigm shift from the way politics are played. And therefore, we're the first political party to carry out primaries in Anambra State. We're the first political party to carry out primaries, because what past leaders of the party used to do before my emergence is that they will wait for other parties to conduct primaries. At the tail end, they will conduct their own so that they can harvest, fall out, and collect money from others. But in my time, I said, no, we are going to lead the struggle to liberate Nigeria. And Anambra governorship election was the first election I was to conduct. And so Labour Party was the first political party to conduct party primaries in Anambra. And somebody emerged, a very young, vibrant man, and had a sponsor that we call Ongadioga. He was the one behind him. Philanthropist, rich, had the money to drive the process. And we went to this young man to resign from the bank. He was regional manager in Zenith Bank. And so we brought him, conducted primaries, and he won. We started our campaign, and they saw that we were very, very serious, that we were going to make a statement. On the 18th of September last year, before the election, he was kidnapped. Until today, he has not been found. Terrible things are happening in the country. I was somewhere and people cautioned that we should not talk so much about the challenges, that we should talk about the solutions to those things, about the solutions to the problem of the country. But I do know that Awolowo used to teach us in those days, for those of you who have read Awolowo's book, that you cannot just find solution to an ailment without first diagnosing those ailments. So we cannot stop talking about the challenges of the country. We must talk about them, but we must also talk about the solutions to those problems. Today, inflation rate in Nigeria is double digits, 20.8%. Minimum wage in Nigeria is 30,000 naira. A bag of rice is 35,000. That is the situation in Nigeria. Today, Nigeria is more divided, more than ever before. Since Buhari came on board, Nigeria is now more divided than ever because all appointment is one-sided. Every principal position is one-sided. There's no justice, there's no equity, there's no fair play in Nigeria. And this is the situation that we find ourselves. And so, for us in Labour Party, we have decided that we are going to have a political party that is different from the others. Because what we noticed and what we found was that because money bags hijack political parties, because political party is the midwife that will midwife political leaders that will be elected into offices. And therefore, what they did was that money bags took over the structure of political parties. They are the ones funding it. They have taken control of it. And therefore, when it's time for party primaries where leaders will be selected, they select their houseboys, their drivers, their tailors, and put them in the National Assembly, in the Senate, and so on. Even governors, they appoint their boys, their loyalists, their cronies to be governors, and they are everywhere. And that's why one man can sit somewhere and dictate the fate of the country. And so we felt that the beginning for us to solve the problem of Nigeria is for us to have a political party that is people-oriented, that is driven by the people, that is owned by the people, that is not funded by one individual, but a political party that will be funded by the people. And so we started by driving that vision, and I'm happy today that we have crystallized that vision by the coming of Peter Obi joining the Labour Party. We told Peter Obi that it was a mistake in his going to PDP. It was purely a mistake. Peter Obi is not a stock for the PDP. Peter Obi is not a material for the PDP. He's a material for the Labour Party. And we have found a soulmate in Peter Obi. I know that you all know his pedigree. You all know about him. But for us, we have continued to maintain that for 2023 election, it's not about the rhetorics that you write. I was in a program, and they were asking me, where is your manifesto? I said, the manifesto is ready. We have written the manifesto. We will unveil the manifesto so that we can satisfy those who may want to look at it. But for 2023, it's not just about manifesto alone. Because in 2015, APC had the most beautiful manifesto. Before 2015, PDP had beautiful manifesto. But did they keep that to the manifesto? How did they implement it? The mantra of change that brought APC to power in 2015, how well have they implemented the manifesto? So for us, it's not just about manifesto, it's also about the character. A about the antecedents, about the pedigree, about the competence and capacity of the presidential candidates. And that's what will determine the 2023 general election. And for us, we must put on the scale the three leading presidential candidates. Peter Obi, because I count him as number one, because he's the leading presidential candidate, without sounding immodest. And then we put Atiku on the scale, and then put Tinubu on the scale. In terms of character, here, Peter Obi is number one. I have maintained that the challenges we are having in this generation too is because we have no role models in the country. In those days, in the First Republic, there are people you can look up to. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, Awolowo, Atoni Nahoro, name them. A lot of young people wanted to be like those political leaders. But today, tell me, who are who in the political space that you want your children, or I want my children to emulate? There are no role models. So part of the problem we have is that we have no role model in the country. But today, Peter Obi stands out in terms of role models and his behavior. Peter Obi's character, his behavior, his way of life, his discipline, is teaching a lot of Nigerians the way to go. And that's why the youth have bought into his character and his behavior. Atiku and Tinubu have no such characteristics. There's no doubt about it. We are ready for the struggle. I will lead the struggle for the liberation of our. The campaign has not started. When it starts, I'm sure that they won't have anything to say. In terms of pedigree, Peter Obi stands out. You all have his records when he was governor in Anambra State. Peter Obi is the only governor as we speak that is not drawing pension. As poor as Nigeria is, when governors are leaving office, they sign a bill, make into law, and collect pension. It is ridiculous. It's absurd. It cannot happen in a civilized society. With all the money they have stolen, they will still put themselves in pension and be collecting pension. There's only Peter Obi that has served as governor who is not drawing pension from his state. It's only Peter Obi that have not built mansion in Anambra State. Even when he was governor, they offered him a land. Peter Obi gave it up. It is only Peter Obi that has no mansion in Anambra. Find out. All other governors, by the time they are leaving, they would have acquired properties for themselves across the country, across the world. When they are leaving office, they empty the treasury. They leave treasury with zero naira in their accounts. But go and find out how much Peter Obi left in his account, in the account when he was leaving. And the facts are there, you can check. So it's very clear that Peter Obi has, in terms of character, and he has it. Then in terms of age, in terms of strength and energy, because these are issues we must talk about. Because we do not want Nigeria to go back to where it was. People say we should not talk about the health of presidential candidates. And I challenge them, I say we must talk about it. Because it's part of the issue. You can't hand over a country that is sick to a sick person. Since I became the national chairman, since Peter Obi joined the party, it apparently brought a lot of challenges to the party. I said it, and I sleep 4 hours a day, at times 3 hours a day. And that is just a segment, one segment of the society. What am I trying to say? The president we are going to elect in 2023 must have the energy, must be in good health. Otherwise, he will not succeed because of the challenges that is facing the country. The challenges ahead of us is not for somebody who is old. Atiku cannot do it. He's already too old for that business. Tinubu is already sick. He cannot. And old. So we need younger, vibrant, articulate, and energetic leader. And that person is Peter Obi. And that's why I'm happy that Nigerians for the first time have risen to the occasion. For the first time, I can see where people are donating their money, donating their business, printing face cap, printing t-shirts, and organizing rallies on their own without contribution from the party. Without contribution, even from Peter Obi. And I think the time for the liberation of Nigeria has come. Because apparently the blood of those that have been killed would obviously speak. I say that the Nigerian government, no doubt, is paying lip service to the issue of security in Nigeria. It's lip service. There's about it. Because you know that when people are kidnapped, they are taken to these forests. You are aware of where they are. Why not deploy security to comb the place? But you leave it and pretend as if nothing can be done. Our oil, we are told that the reason we are not meeting the target that is given to us by OPEC is because they steal the oil. They are in charge of security. They control the Navy. They control the army. They control the police. They control custom. So how come you cannot monitor your waterways? And you tell us that barrels of oil are stolen. Who are the thieves? They are the thieves. So they pay lip service to all these things. So I'm happy that Nigerians are ready to take the bull by the horn. But there's a lot of work that we need to do. We need not pretend about it. There are several challenges that we must face. The country is still a very poor country. People are poor and hungry. And the socio-economic conditions of the people must be taken into account because it has a way of impacting on the life of the people. The poor man cannot enjoy human rights. You know why? If I'm brutalized today, and I need the services of a lawyer to fight for my rights, and I cannot afford it, what will I do? I will resign to fate. Majority of our people are poor, are hungry, and therefore whatever you offer them, at times on election day, they take it and may want to eat. And the poverty of the people, the hunger of the people, and all other ethnic settlements and the rest of them is what our people have, is what the leaders have been using to keep us hostage. But I'm happy we are gradually liberating ourselves from it. But like I said, there are a lot of challenges that we need to surmount. We need to get the issues of our agents very right. Because what I have noticed too is that what politicians do is that once there is an amendment to the Electoral Act to take care of one mischief, they create another room to rig election. In the past, after conduct of election, where the rig election is to go to the polling units and alter the results. But with our fight and our agitation for the improvement in the Electoral Act, they can no longer rig at the collation center because election results will be transmitted from the polling units. But Labour Party have decided to be ahead of them. So we have put a team in place. Look at this Electoral Act. Where will they rig from now so that we prevent and walk ahead of them? And we discovered that the only way they can rig now is to rig at the polling units before the election results are transmitted. And that's why the issue of our agents, we must get it right. We must adequately pay them. We must adequately take care of them. We must make sure that all the polling units are well manned by credible people, by intelligent people, and will ensure that they are men that cannot be compromised. We will also be mobilizing our people to ensure that after voting, they should remain there and defend the votes. Election strategy is not what we can put here on the table to discuss because of the recording. But I just said these few things because of some of the points that were raised, that what are we doing to ensure that we'll be able not just to win, but defending the votes. There are a couple of other things we have put in place to ensure that we are going to win and we are going to defend the votes. Today we are here to inaugurate the UK chapter. And I will speak briefly on how we came to the realization of forming the Labour Party. The struggle to actually have a party that is people-oriented started in 1945, when the Workers' Union then saw the need to form a Labour Party. And the then Labour leader number one, Imodu, aligned with the NCNC then and worked closely with the NCNC. When Herbert Macaulay died, Imodu was then nominated to join the delegation that came to UK to negotiate the Richards Constitution in 1945. And by the time Imodu got to Britain, that was when Labour Party won in Britain and formed government. And therefore, on his return to Nigeria, he saw the need to have and form Labour Party that would struggle for the liberation of the working people in Nigeria. But that didn't really come to fruition because it culminated into the struggle for independence, which took some time, and we eventually had independence. After independence, we then had the struggle, military incursion in politics, and so on, till 1989, when in Calabar, the unions came together and said they must have a workers' party that will struggle for the working people and struggle for the downtrodden. But the Babangida regime aborted all that struggle and came up with NROC and SDP, if you recall. And that republic, which people popularly refer to as the Third Republic, didn't really find its way and didn't really work until in 2000, when Ganifa Wemi went to court to challenge the Obasanjo regime on why political parties will not be registered. And the Supreme Court graciously granted that request to Ganifa Wemi and all others to form political party. And so in 2002, the current Labour Party was given birth to. And so the Labour Party today in Nigeria has been in existence since 2002 as Party for Social Democracy. And in 2004, we then decided to change the name from Party for Social Democracy to Labour Party. And from inception, I was there. I was Assistant Secretary of the party in Edo. I was Assistant State Secretary in Edo. In 2006, I became State Secretary in Edo. In 2014, I became Deputy National Secretary. And in 2015, when the National Secretary resigned, I became National Secretary. I was re-elected again as National Secretary in 2020. And in 2021, the National Chairman died, December 2020. And in March 2021, I took over the mantle of leadership as the National Chairman of the party. I then decided to change the narratives and build the party along the line of people oriented. And I'm happy today that we are all here to lead the struggle for the liberation of Nigeria. I want to assure you that we will lead the struggle for this liberation. Whatever it will take us to deliver the people of Nigeria, to pursue this election and to ensure that Peter Obi wins next year, we will do all of it to ensure that victory is for us. Should I conclude now? Okay. So let me once more appreciate all of you for the support. I want to say that I'm highly elated seeing the caliber of people sitting here. I'm highly encouraged. I'm humbled by your support, by your presence. I'm humbled by the fact that you waited. We were supposed to start by 7. Although that wasn't my fault, I was ready, but the organizers didn't come around to pick me. It's not in our character to go late. Because we believe that if we must change government, the change must begin from us. And punctuality should be part of it. Our behavior should be part of it. If we are saying that we must change the political narratives, the change must begin from us. By the way we do things, by our conduct in our private life, by our conduct in our business life. It is that characteristics, that change must start from us. So it's not in our character to go late, but I'm sure that the organizers had a lot of logistic issues, and that was how we had to come late. So I am deeply humbled that you patiently waited. I'm happy, and I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm happy with the support you are giving to us. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, sir. Okay, this is part of the coming together of everybody tonight, which is the inauguration of the UK chapter of Labour Party. So these are going to be the people that will be representing Labour Party in the UK. The chairman is going to do the inauguration. I just want him to take a bit of weight off his leg for a while. We're still going to call him up. Can I have this?
Yes, before we call the list, we have, like I said in my remarks, there is the need to have chapters across some countries of the world, especially in those countries where we have huge number of Nigerians. And we identified UK as one of those countries that have large following of Nigerians. And so that's why we decided to start with the inauguration of the UK chapter. They are not elected, it's just a caretaker committee. Their mandate is, one, to carry out the registration of members. Because for you to have election, you must have members. Without membership, proper membership that are registered, that are subscribing, and with their membership cards, you won't be able to have a proper Congress that will bring in elected leaders. And for every beginning, there must be doctrine of necessity, especially where we didn't have strong UK organs and members across the countries. And so we have decided that we are going to have, now that we have some following, some people who want to work for Peter Obi and they work for Labour Party, it is good for us to take some time, 6 months, to carry out membership, proper membership registration. These members, we have their membership cards, we have proper membership register, and then we can then call for election, where leaders of the UK chapter will emerge. We can't do this except you have a group of people that you assign this responsibility to be able to carry out this task. And we feel that with this momentum that the Labour Party is having, and with the following of emerging members from the UK and some other parts like Italy and the rest of them, it is good for us to take advantage of this and begin to establish the party. And so that's how we arrived at this. So it is a caretaker committee that will run for 6 months. First mandate is to register members, ensure that they have membership cards, and then lead the group into conduct of primaries. Because we believe that there must be a beginning. And this is the foundation. This is the beginning. It is because of this I had to come myself. I didn't want to delegate this responsibility. And it is the very first chapter that we are going to inaugurate. The very first chapter outside Nigeria that we are inaugurating. And I decided that I would do it myself. Our tickets were cancelled twice. I came with my brother from Edo. We traveled together. I wouldn't have been here on that Friday. We left on Friday, have we? the tickets were cancelled as we were getting to the point. They said we didn't get to the airport. We didn't get to the ticketing section 2 hours to the time. The tickets that we bought were cancelled. We had to buy another ticket that took us to Amsterdam before we came to UK. But I'm happy that I'm here myself, and I want to anchor this inauguration. We have been having 2-3 groups who have been contending leadership of UK branch. I have met with them. I sat with them. We have discussed, and we have reached this consensus. I'm a bridge builder. I believe that the more you have people together, the better for us. And that was why when I came, even though it is this other group that arranged my coming, I decided that I was going to see all other groups. And that if I did see all the groups, there won't be inauguration. And I got other people, got some other people to help me look for all the groups wherever they are. And I had interface with all of them, all the groups I met with them. And I ensured that they all brought in their nomination. And so what we have here is a conglomeration of those who said they are from Labour Party one way or the other. Whether they had my authority to do so or not, it didn't matter to me. Because when some disciples of Jesus came to him and said, some people are speaking in your name. Master, some people are speaking in your name, but they are not part of us. Jesus Christ told them, if they are not against us, they are for us. A lot of people, when they heard that Peter Obi came to Labour Party, those who didn't have authority or those were giving people mandates to go and form UK branch. You go and form, you go and form UK. So they were all forming UK branch. And so there was struggle for leadership. So I said, I will go myself. Whether they had my mandate or not, in as much as it's Labour Party, they are all my people. I will see them. And so I brought all the groups together, and they have all made nomination to this caretaker committee. So what we have here is a conglomeration of all the groups, and it's for 6 months. After 6 months, they would have registered members, and then we announce the date for election where there will be primaries. If I have time, I will come myself to conduct that primaries. And so I will crave your indulgence that we should allow this to go, and then we inaugurate them, issue them the necessary letters, so that we can have some sort of coordination. They just brought to my knowledge that some support groups are quarreling. Though I didn't have the details, I said I would discuss with you. That some of your groups, some people got angry and left. Some people were removed from the group, and so on and so forth. It came to me late. If I had known that they had that issue, I would have created one day and bring all the groups together. Because we can't afford to be divided at this time. What is principal to us, what is most important to us, is how we win the presidential election of next year. The Bible says, seek ye first his kingdom and his righteousness. If we are able to win presidency next year, I know that majority of you here will be relocating to Nigeria. Because we are going to find space for you in government. For those of you that are already having the resources, the enabling environment we are going to create will be enough for you to create something for you to live on. Nigeria can be a great country because we have all the resources. We have the natural resources. We have the human resources. What we have been lacking is the leadership, is having proactive leadership that we harness all our resources together in order to reposition the country for greatness. Even if we had nothing else, the land and the human resources we have is enough for the country to be great. I know that Israel, even UK here, and some other countries, live on agriculture. So even if we are only farming with all the lands that we have, we'll be able to feed ourselves and export food. Today, Nigeria cannot feed itself. The major source of our imports is from food. Up to rice, we'll import. Everything we'll import. So for me, what is key is for us to focus on the presidential election. Once we win it, every other thing will follow. So I want to appeal to all the groups because I may not have any other time to sit with the groups and sort out whatever is the issue. But I want to appeal to you that we should not struggle over supremacy. We want to change government in Nigeria. We should not behave the same way. We should be agents of change. And we must be ready to live by example. If in your support group, the small group that you have, you can't work together, you are already fighting. Are we setting good example? So I want to appeal to you that whatever grievances you may have, whatever struggle for supremacy you may have, let us allow the interest of the country to supersede. Let us come together, reach compromise, and see how we can team up together to win next year's election. At this stage, we can't continue to work at cross purposes. At this stage, we can't continue to duplicate efforts. Because some of the resources you may have, you may be wasting it. When you do your own, I do my own, he does his own. And it's all the same thing. We could have come together and maximized the resources to do one program. And when we come together to do that one program, it will be more successful. You have more people. It will be more rewarding. Nigeria is divided more than ever before. Part of Peter Obi's program is unity for the country. It's the second part of his manifesto. I don't want to speak on the manifesto now because he has not officially unveiled it. But his second cardinal program is security and unity of the country. And for you who are agents of change, cannot afford to be divided. Over what? Over nothing. So I appeal to you. Just came to my notice yesterday that there are disagreements. I don't have the details, but I heard it. But because I won't have time, I would have invited everybody for us to sit. I want to appeal to you. Let us come together and work for this purpose, presidency of next year. And by the time we get it, every other thing will follow. So I will, where is my PA? My PA in the UK. Where my PA? Come now, come and read the list. That's my PA in UK. He was the one that was with me all day. And that's why when they wanted to remove his name from the list, I said, no, his name must be there. I said, nothing do you, Abi. That was what I told you. That. So please read it so that we can.
The chairman of this noble party, the Nigeria Labour Party UK, Chief Daniel Matthew. my humble self, Mayor Olami Ajibala, Deputy Chairman of the Labour Party, Labour Party UK. Casimir Brayok, Vice Deputy Chairman. Jonathan Hanebe, Vice Deputy Chairman. Chief Christian Honora, Vice Deputy Chairman. Dr. Valerie Mbogo, General Secretary.
Can they come out so that we can see them? Come out, come out.
Mr. Sebastian Coker, Deputy Secretary. Sheon David Onamuse, Director of Protocol. Deputy Secretary too. Mr. Samuel Oluwafemi Soyeju, Director of Protocol. Chief Felix Onyeneke, Political Advisor 1. Can we all come forward, please? Prince Onazodo, Political Advisor 2. Prince Sam Auze, he's not here today. He's having an event today. Edna Mfechuku. So, Political Advisor 4. Treasurer, Ms. Tayo Akobi. She's not here at the moment. She called, she was stuck on the traffic. Deputy Treasurer, Mercy Maji. Financial Secretary, Femi Ajibode. Women Leader, Ms. Evelyn Onamuzo Okwo. Deputy Women Leader, Nina Joseph. Youth Leader, Mr. Solomon Aleto. Director of Media and Publicity, Wilfred Nwaibe Adams. Deputy Director of Media and Publicity, Temi Dayo. Director of Policy and Strategy, Robert Solomon. Campaign and Strategy Director, Ayo Adedoyin. Director of Operation Nigeria, Ms. Sibili Mary Patient. That's all. Thank you. Are we all here? Please, let's give one applause to all our secretaries.
Well, I have the honor this evening and the privilege to inaugurate these executives to run the affairs of the UK chapter of Labour Party for the next 6 months. After which they will conduct the business of the party here in UK. They will carry out massive registration of members and then lead the party in UK to election after the expiration of 6 months. As the national chairman of this party, I therefore inaugurate this committee. So we will, what's the next item now?
Speech by the chairman.
Inaugural speech. Thank you. Inaugural speech. Thank you.
Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, Labour Party, forward ever, forward ever. I actually made the speech, but I feel like it's best sometimes to just speak from the heart. So indulge me in the process. It's a great privilege and honor to see wonderful people with great honor, intelligent, with great value, together in one accord for one very purpose, to bring change to a great nation called Nigeria. None of us could do it alone. Neither could Peter Obi do it alone. Every one of us desire the best for Nigeria. So I want to appeal to everybody the group, those who started the party movement in UK, those who tried to become Labour Party officials, those who are unable to become Labour Party officials, to remember one thing and one thing alone. Before you call yourself a Labour Party person, a support group person, you're first a Nigerian. You are first a Nigerian. So no matter what differences that got you to this point, you are first a Nigerian. You can see me in my wonderfully proud Nigerian outfit, arrogantly displaying my tradition. So I want to remind you about that. The theme of today is called unity. Unity of purpose, unity of goal, unity of ambition. We have only one purpose and one purpose only, to make Peter Obi the next president of our great country. Whichever way we get to work that work, whichever way we get to take that journey, whichever way we get to make that movement count, I'll be relying on you, I'll be relying on you, I'll be relying on every one of you here and beyond this place. This might be the first chapter open from the green shore of Africa and Nigeria to the high mountains of Europe, to the wide range faraway east of the east, to the deep valley of America. Every soul, every place, you, me, Nigerian breed, to the next generation. Labour Party, we set a full stop. We create a chapter. We start a movement of revolution that will take the lost sheep, not just the sheep of physical being, the lost sheep of the mind, of the soul, connected back to the home, where you call yourself not by color, not by tribe, not by minority, but by proud Nigerian, a proud Igbo man, a proud Yoruba man, a proud Hausa man, a proud Edo man like myself. Labour Party is the chapter, the movement beyond just Peter Obi. So I want to appeal to all those support groups, to wonderful Abraham for starting this journey of becoming a Labour Party official, to Mercy, my very good brother, one of the greatest support group organizers, to each and every one of you here, to my wonderful uncle over there, to say, let's unite. Let's come together. Forget the title. Forget the ranks. Well, let's focus on purpose. Let's focus on purpose, objective, and goal. Become a member. I know some people will say, oh, I'm just supporting OB and not supporting the party. I say to you, can you preach salvation without Jesus? I say to you, can you preach about Allah without Prophet Muhammad, peace be unto him? You cannot be obediently useful without the Labour Party. For you to be usefully obedient, you must belong to the party. The party is a gateway for you and I to connect back to Nigeria for good governance, good public health, good education, where we're not exporting skills, knowledge, and skill out of Nigeria, but we're repatriating them back. I don't call Nigerians outside Nigeria immigrants. I call us expatriates. So the expatriates are brought to come back home, but come to the party. Rather than us now rankling, I want to appeal to each and every one of you. Go to our website. Download the registration form. Become a member first. Be a proud card-carrying person. Pay your dues. Then have a voice. In this great chapter, I'm proud to say, the first chapter inaugurated outside Nigeria. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Sorry, one last thing. Apologies, memory. I also want to use this opportunity for the grace of God to please indulge me to give the greatest and the most proudest honor, and the greatest honor one could ever give. If I was to come back 100 times and design a human being I would like to be, a man of humility and calmness, a man of deep wisdom with some sensibility that profoundly amazes me, that talks sense without actually expressing any effortless element of it. He honors us without even knowing who we are, but by just talking. A man, within these short few seconds, that have breathed the air he breathed, walked the floor he walked, shared the drink, and eat the food he ate, have immensely grown 1,000 wisdom. It's a privilege and honor for me to say personally, I don't even call him my chairman anymore. I call him my big brother, my uncle, the wonderful barrister, Julius. Please, a round of applause for him. So thank you very much for honoring us. Thanks for coming. Thanks for meeting every one of us. Thanks for letting us know the value of being a Labour Party member. Thank you, sir, and I yield the floor. Thank you.
Round of applause once again. Please, all the inaugurated members can take their seats. At the end of the whole show, you get a form to sign to take the mantle of offices.
Now, Labour Party, I got to know about Labour Party from a family friend, Abure. I met him at his White House. This was when he wanted to be the governor of Delta State. But that is not why I am here. I am here to let Labour Party know, if you miss it this time, that is the end of Labour Party. The presidential election. If Obi doesn't become the president of Nigeria come 2023, I doubt it. All these people you are seeing here, all of them will go their separate ways. That's all I have to say. So you do all you can. Do all you can for Obi to be the president of Nigeria come 2023. My poll unit, I will recruit all my poll unit back in Ndokwa, where I come from. And all my friends, all my relatives, all of them, if I had to pay them, I know we don't do shishi, if I had to pay them, I'll put hand in my pocket and then I'll pay them. For them to go and vote, Obi, we need to go back home. This gentleman here, I said to him, by the time they finish the election and then we take over the power, all I want is a chairman position in one of the corporations. Then he said to me, please don't clap your hands. He said to me that all he wants is to go home to Nigeria peacefully. I said, my God, I changed my agenda, my narratives. All I want is peace, to go back home peacefully. I had my time. If any other thing comes out of it, it's a bonus. But I will fight for Labour Party.
Thank you. We can see the passion, not even in the youngs alone, but in the old as well. Because what has been going on around is that the youth of Labour Party are set Tinubu on a cycling era. We've never seen him exercise before. But what the youth kept saying, let's see how long it's going to go. Atiku doesn't cycle, but is dancing all about. We can all move slowly. Well, thank God for that, and definitely it's our time. I'll keep repeating that, and we will take it. So I'll call again on the secretary to give us a closing remark, and then we all can have a photo session with the chairman.
Just want to say thank you so much, Honorable Chairman. Thank you, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen. It's been the most amazing of evenings. Very educating, very informative, very engaging. And I'm sure It has left each and every one of us with something to take away and to think about. Before I joined the Labour Party, in fact, I wasn't interested in Nigerian politics at all because there was no choice for me. I couldn't think about APC ruling or PDP ruling that country again. And it wasn't until one day I listened to Peter Obi speak, and it was like somebody was echoing my mind. I could identify with what he had to say. It was like somebody was reading my mind and somebody was reading the minds of my little kids at home. Just like Honorable Kate said, I became afraid to go home. I couldn't take my children home for fear of being kidnapped, for fear of being killed in a home that I was raised. And for the sake of ourselves, not just ourselves, for the sake of our children, for the sake of future generation, for the sake of those that we have left back home, for the sake of the poor, for the sake of the needy, for the sake of the disabled, for the sake of the mentally impaired, for the sake of those that have no voice. We cannot sit here and say, what can Nigeria do for us anymore? We must say, what can we do for Nigeria? I have a dream. Like he said, I have a dream. Like I said at the beginning, I could have been in my bed tonight because I have an injury, but I have a dream. That dream is bigger than myself. That dream is bigger than each and every one of us in this room. That dream is even bigger than Labour Party. But it is going to take each and every one of us taking our place to bring that dream about. Every skill, every talent, every man, every woman, every boy, every girl, every child must know where they come from. Must know that Nigeria was once a place that we were proud of. That Nigeria was once a place that paid for other countries. I remember when I came into this country, nobody asked me a question about my identity because I came from a nation that people could reckon with. But now, try walking on the streets. The police would ask you for your passports just to identify you. Or the moment you say your name is a Nigerian name, you are a suspect. In the diaspora, that is our experience. And why? Simply because pure bad leadership, failed government, have forced our young people into criminality. Hunger, poverty has been used as a weapon to oppress and suppress our people. And we can't sit here in the diaspora enjoying another man's country, even though we have contributed. I built this country. We have contributed. But it's time we look to home. It's time we think about home. It's time we think about our people. It's time we stand up and be counted. Without that, the Labour Party is nothing without us. We can have all the positions we want, doesn't translate into life. It doesn't save one human being. And if your reason for being part of Labour Party is so that you have a position, you're in the wrong place. I must say that. The Labour Party, like I said earlier, founded on the principles of social democracy, where humanity, values, integrity is utmost. The Labour Party is a party not just of the working class, but of the rich, of the bourgeoisie, for a change, because it is the very bourgeoisie that is going to make that difference. Because we all believe in one thing, and we all have one goal. And so at that point, I'm going to say, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for spending time to listen to us. Thank you for being part of this movement. Thank you for having a heart for our country. Thank you, and may God bless you. May you have a safe journey back home. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Thank you.